guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me today. So in today's video I am finally going to be doing my plastic surgery Q&A. I asked you guys over on Instagram to send me in some questions for today's video. I'm going to go through them with you all today, answering them as best as I can. If you haven't already, please be sure to check out my other 2 videos on my plastic surgery. I recorded the entire experience from landing in Korea through to the recovery, so if that's something you're interested in watching, the links will be down below. And for anybody that hasn't seen those videos, what I did was a revision rhinoplasty and a breast augmentation. Okay, so let's get started with the Q&A. I hope everything has been going well with your surgery, but my question is, what is the maintenance for your scars, specifically the breast augmentation? Also, how is the pain from the surgery to the recovery process? So as far as my nose goes, the scars are there. You guys can't really see them. There's 2 here on the sides of my nostrils and 1 under here. They're barely noticeable. They're barely even scars. They don't really bother me. I don't even think about them. The only time I kind of notice them is maybe when I'm like putting makeup on. So I don't really notice them. They're not really an issue. As far as the breast augmentation goes, my scars are really clean, which is something I'm really thankful for. They are a little bit dark, but I know as time goes on they will just become pink over time. I feel very lucky about that. But I do use this cream that I got when I was in Korea. Look, and Anna from Docfinderkorea went and picked this one out specifically for me to help with the scarring. This cream is actually called Domina, and it was recommended to me by my breast augmentation surgeon, Dr. Seoul from JW Clinic. Basically, it helps the dark pigmentation that comes with scarring to fade away even faster. So using this basically just speeds up the recovery process and reduces the pigmentation around the scar so that it becomes more light and more pink and less noticeable as soon as possible. Are you pleased with your surgeries? Would you go under the knife again? If so, what would you get done? I really idolize your bravery and honesty on this topic. You are great at what you do. Yes, I am pleased with the results of my surgeries. If I was to go under the knife again, what would I have done? Honestly, I don't think that I would ever go under the knife again, and this is actually a question that I got a lot, both under my YouTube video and also on Instagram. A lot of you guys want to know if I'm planning on doing anything else, and personally, no, I don't want to get plastic surgery again. I feel like this is enough for me. I've done it twice and I really don't want to go through it again. There's not really anything else that I want to change about myself. For me, the only insecurity that I do want to change is get braces, and of course that doesn't involve surgery. I would like to get braces to fix my crooked teeth, but besides that I don't have any other plans. It might be a silly question, but do you remember dreaming while being asleep during surgery? I feel like a lot of people are curious about being under local anesthetic. A lot of people think it's really scary. I've been under local anesthetic before in the past. Whenever I had teeth pulled out, I actually had to get like 4 teeth pulled out when I was a kid, so they put me out for that. They knocked me out. So whenever I was going for the surgery, it didn't really worry me too much, but I didn't experience any dreaming. And whenever I was out, basically I just woke up and it was over. You know, it felt like no time at all. It felt like they sent me to sleep and then I woke up again 5 minutes later, which of course it wasn't 5 minutes, but it really did feel like only 5 minutes had passed. So you just kind of fall into really deep sleep, but I don't have any memories or any dreams. I have 2 questions about the surgery relating to the breast augmentation. What treatment or products did you use to heal the scars? And was there a noticeable weight difference you personally felt after the surgery? So as I mentioned before, this is the cream that was recommended to me by my breast surgeon doctor. As for a weight difference, I do not weigh myself. I actually don't even have a scale here in Japan, so I haven't actually weighed myself to see if there is a weight difference because of my boobs now. I'm sure that there probably is some form of weight difference. I'm maybe a little bit heavier now, but my body looks the same, only my boobs look a little bit bigger, so I don't really notice it. If there's any weight change, like, I don't really mind. Where did you stay while you were recovering? In the surgery place or with the host family sort of thing? So straight after the surgery, I stayed at JW Clinic for a short while I was recovering, just waking up from the surgery, kind of getting my bearings. I stayed there for a few hours until I felt well enough to kind of stand up. It is possible to stay over at JW Clinic if you feel that you need to stay over, but in my case I didn't need to stay over, so I just went straight to the hotel. Anna from Docfinder was able to just walk me down to the taxi, and she was able to walk me up to my bed to the hotel that I stayed at, which was really close to the clinic. If you're going through Docfinder for something like this, then they will help you to arrange a hotel or a place to stay that is close by to the clinic that you're going to, and also they'll help you with getting taxis to and from both the clinic and the hotel. Hello, I'd like to know how the scars look after these months. At the end of this video I'm going to give you guys an update on how my scars look and also how my nose deswelling is progressing, so watch later for that. Also, do you feel like your breasts are weird and hard? I've been thinking about getting breast augmentation, but I'm scared it might kind of look unnatural and feel weird. When I first got my breasts done, they definitely felt really weird, and not just like outwardly, like they felt weird in my body. They felt weird in myself, and it was really strange. It took maybe about 6 months for them to finally feel normal again, but they have started to feel pretty normal. But yeah, after about the 6-month mark, they've really started to become more malleable, more soft. They don't feel hard at all anymore. In the beginning they did, but now not so much. And I feel like a contributing factor to that is the fact that I had my implants put under the muscle. You can have your implant put over the muscle, between the muscle, or under. I decided to put mine under. Unfortunately, doing it under makes the recovery a little more difficult, a little more painful, but in the end it does provide the most natural feeling and looking results, so that's why I went for under the muscle. But as for now, they don't feel hard and they don't feel weird anymore, so that's good. What other surgeries do you plan on having next, and are you finally satisfied with your nose? As I said earlier, I don't plan on getting any more surgeries. But are you finally satisfied with your nose? It's kind of a heavy question. Sometimes I feel really satisfied with my nose. Most of the time I feel really satisfied with it. But at the same time I feel like I will never truly be 100% satisfied with it, and that is not because there's anything wrong with it, but mostly because of me and my head. I feel like there might be some kind of dysmorphia going on there, which is something that I'm starting to look into, and I'm starting to realize that I relate to body dysmorphia quite heavily, especially when it comes to my nose. So from now on I want to work more on myself and my head, and just trying to tell myself that everything's okay. My nose has definitely improved. I'm so glad that I did my surgeries on my nose. The original nose that I was born with, which I had surgery on back in 2013 or 2014 or something like that, made me really unhappy, and I'm really glad that I had the surgery to get it changed. It improved my life so much. The most recent revision that I got in Korea just really helped to take care of those small details that were annoying me. So if you guys don't already know this, after my first nose job it was great, but then over time a lot of scar tissue formed and ended up kind of ruining it. So that's why I went to Korea and got it changed. Basically I got all the scar tissue that was causing the weird shape removed. So this part of my nose, this little middle part, was hanging low, and it was hanging low because so much scar tissue had formed in there. And also I had a bump on my nose, which was again from scar tissue that had formed. So I went to Korea and I got the scar tissue here removed, and I got the scar tissue on my bridge removed, and now it's like a smooth slope. So overall I'm really happy with the results, and I'm definitely more happy than I was before I got my nose done again, so that's what's important. Were you worried that you might not have looked like yourself after? Honestly, no, I was not worried about this because I was getting a breast augmentation, so that doesn't really change my face, so I wasn't worried about that. And I also knew that what I was getting changed to my nose was really small, and it was really just fixing the scar tissue from the previous surgery, so I wasn't worried that I wasn't going to look like myself. I feel like if I was getting a surgery that perhaps is changing my face shape or changing like something about my skull, like for example V-line surgery is really popular in Korea and it looks gorgeous and it looks beautiful, but that is something that would worry me because I would be worried that I wouldn't look like myself after. But as I say, I just got my boobs done and a small change to my nose, so I wasn't really worried about coming out of surgery looking like a completely different person. So I honestly think that if I didn't even tell anyone about my second nose job, no one would even notice, which is a really positive thing in my opinion. The results just look really natural and really subtle, so that's why I'm really happy with it. For the boobs, I went from an A cup to a C cup. Not a huge difference, they're very, very natural. Like, it's not a huge difference in the sense that I didn't go from being flat to like double D's for days. I know your surgery was sponsored, but do you have any tips for someone who wants to save for a similar surgery, rhinoplasty? And also, what were the food options like in Korea? So if you eat meat, the food options in Korea are amazing. Look, really enjoyed the food in Korea, but for someone that doesn't eat meat, it was a little bit more tricky. There are some really trendy like vegan cafes you can go to in Korea, but because I was recovering from surgery, I didn't really have time to travel to those places, which was a shame. My tips for saving for a surgery, or just for saving anything in general, is really to just keep in mind what your end goal is. This surgery was sponsored, but I had a nose job, as I said, in 2014, and I saved up and I paid for that one all by myself. I went to work every day and I saved every penny that I could to get that surgery because it's really, really what I wanted, and I wanted to get it as soon as possible so that I could just get it over and done with and move on with my life. I think it's just, when you're saving for anything, just keep in mind what your end goal is. Do you want to order a Domino's pizza, or do you want to get your nose done? Do you want to order a Domino's pizza, or do you want to buy a house? You know what I mean? Also, every time you kind of forego something, like you say to yourself, I'm not going to order any food, or I'm not going to buy any new clothes this month, you know, it feels rewarding whenever you do achieve that and you think, wow, I saved all that money. So also, I think that it also helps to make a list of the things that you don't want to do. So whenever I was saving for things, sometimes I said to myself, no Starbucks this month, no new clothes this month, no new makeup this month. And then I try my best to stick to it. I try real hard. I'm a fan of lists. And the last question is from the Kira Ashley. If you could do the whole surgery over again, what would you do differently? So if I was going to do the surgery again, I would probably bring stronger painkillers. This is something to keep in mind if you're going for plastic surgery in Korea. In Korea, their pain medication is not as strong as what we are used to in the West. Same goes for Japan. The painkillers just aren't as strong here, and because the breast augmentation was so incredibly painful. I talked about this in my last video. I really struggled with the pain from the breast augmentation. It was really, really sore. I wish I brought some stronger painkillers from back home with me. So if I was going to do it again, that's what I would do for sure, just to help me cope with the pain a little bit. The ones in Korea didn't really do much for me, so. Okay guys, well that is all of the questions for today. If you would like me to do another plastic surgery Q&A video, then please let me know. I really want to keep you guys updated with how my recovery is going. Most of my recovery is done, however, my nose is still swollen. It's still very swollen. So because this is my second nose job, the swelling is going down a lot slower than it did last time. Also, I'd like to keep you guys updated with the progress of my scars, and I'm going to insert some pictures of what my nose and my scars look like now, so you guys can get a good idea of how they are looking 6 months post-op. And of course, if you are planning on doing something like this, if you are planning on going to South Korea for plastic surgery, then I really recommend checking out the Docfinderkorea website. Their service is free and they really help to take care of all the nitty-gritty stuff so that you can just focus on recovering. It's really helpful to have somebody else there for you, especially whenever you're in a foreign country, and especially if you're going by yourself. For me, they took care of everything, from getting transported to the airport, the hotel, getting back and forth from the clinic, helping to translate in the clinic. So I really do recommend checking out their service if it's something that you're interested in. Their email address and website will be down below, and of course I want to give a big thank you to JW Clinic as well, which is the clinic that I went to for my surgeries. I mentioned this before in my last videos, but a lot of you are still worried about going over to Korea because of course there is a language barrier. However, in JW Clinic, their doctors speak English. Most of their doctors speak English, and if there's any point where you or the person that you're communicating with is confused, you have someone from Docfinderkorea with you to help translate. Okay guys, well that is everything for today's Q&A. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!